explore different innovations by our very own young innovators. Make sure you don't miss. Tune in every Monday at 10:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya jogging kwa simu yako, bonyeza *811 *758#.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, Mr. Kipto.
Now I want you to write a composition using the word jogging.
Teacher, please give us spelling for the word jogging.
Sijasema jog ile jog ya kunyongwa. Hapana. Ninasema jogging. Na sijasema jog ile nje unasema jog ya kukimbia ya marathon ama ile jog ingine ile jog ya television ya kucheka. Sijasema hiyo jogging. Na maanisha jogging your brain ile kukimbiza akili ya changamoto. That a composition using the word jogging.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii, bonyeza *811 *758#, *811 *758#.
If you are a holder of any unclaimed financial assets, surrender all unclaimed financial assets in your possession to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, today without having to pay interest or penalties. Take advantage of the Finance Act 2022 moratorium on penalties and interests. For more information, visit www.ufaa.go.ke/holders. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Familia nyingi zimeathirika na hata mara nyingine kupoteza wapendwa wao kutokana na aina za majiko zinazotumia kuni nyingi na kutoa moshi nyingi. Lakini sasa kuna suluhisho kupitia kwa super jiko. Majiko ya kisasa yanayotumia kuni kidogo na kutoa moshi kidogo. Hivyo hutunza familia yako kutokana na magonjwa yanayoletwa na moshi. Kwa kutumia kuni kidogo pia tuna save mazingira yetu. Siri ni kuwa majiko haya ya kisasa yametengenezwa kwa lea nono ya udongo ili kuzuia kupoteza joto. Uhifadhi joto jingi na hivyo upika kwa haraka. Kuna aina nyingi ya majiko haya ya kisasa. Waweza kujengewa jikoni mwako au waweza kununua. Usibahatishe.
Super Jiko, upishi smart na salama. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu na Wizara ya Kawi na washirika wenza.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again.
Thank you very much from wherever you're watching us in Nairobi, Kenya, and around the world. Good evening. My name is Mboya, and this live broadcast is coming to you from Broadcasting House in the capital city, as I mentioned, on Harithuku Road. Let's take a look at our top stories tonight.
We will now expedite the gas pipeline from Dar es Salaam to Mombasa and eventually to Nairobi, so that we can use the resources that we have in our region to lower energy tariffs, both for industry and for commercial purposes and domestic use in Kenya.
Kenya to benefit from cheap natural gas imported from Tanzania. World Mental Day observed with calls to revamp the country's mental health care system. Access to credit by small and medium enterprises is seen as key to flourishing African economy. Plus, a burial stopped in Kisii as land ownership tussle ensues. And also later on, live in studio, we will be discussing a topic of empowering both boys and girls in marginal areas through quality education and training for the welfare of the society. Our guest tonight is Sister Teresia Mboya, Principal Bishop of Mazolodi Secondary School. That's in Kajiado North. Make sure you do stay with us. Our socials at KBC Channel 1, my Twitter handle at Tomboya24. And Lucy Mora is in charge of our sign language docket. Straight to our top story. Kenya will benefit from cheap natural gas imported from Tanzania, with a likely effect of bringing down the cost of generating power and eventually of living. This after President William Ruto and his Tanzanian counterpart Samia Suluhu agreed to revive an agreement that will allow Tanzania to export gas into Kenya through the pipeline from Dar es Salaam connected to Mombasa and finally to Nairobi. JJ Kuria opens our coverage tonight with that report.
Tanzania ranks at number 71 in the world in the production of natural gas, producing 39,189.65 million cubic feet of natural gas per year, compared to its consumption of 109,500 million cubic feet. It's against this background that Kenya struck a long-term deal during the reign of retired President Uhuru Kenyatta for Tanzania to export its natural gas surplus to Kenya to aid the generation of electricity where power tariffs continue to hit the roof. While on his two-day working tour of Tanzania, President William Ruto and his Tanzanian counterpart Samia Suluhu agreed to revive the deal that will see the construction of a pipeline from Mtwara, Dar es Salaam to Mombasa and later Nairobi.
Tumekubaliana na Mheshimiwa Rais na serikali zetu mbili kwamba wale wanaohusika, wale watu wa private sector, sasa tutaiharakisha. Tuko na suluhu ya mambo magumu, na mama amesema mimi naitwa Kipchirchir, mimi kumaanisha kuharakisha. Sasa tutakuwa na suluhu na kuharakisha, ndio haya mambo yote yaweze kufanyika.
Mradi ambao tulisha saini makubaliano pamoja na Rais Uhuru, lakini Rais Ruto ameubeba kwa ndio mradi wake wa kwanza atakaoanza na Tanzania, bomba la kusafirisha gesi Dar es Salaam kwenda Mombasa.
With a move expected to lower energy tariffs in the country, the deal will rope in the private sector and stakeholders in the gas industry.
We can use the resources that we have in our region to lower energy tariffs, both for industry and for commercial purposes and domestic use in Kenya, as we use the resources we have in our region to improve the quality of life for our people and to also improve the competitiveness of our industries and our investors, so that we can be competitive as a region and be competitive as a country.
President Ruto says the government is committed to the efficient conclusion of a project so that Kenyans can begin enjoying the fruits of the deal.
We are going to ensure that whatever the government of Kenya needs to do will be done in a timely, efficient, and effective manner, so that in the shortest time possible we can access the gas resources that you have in your country to drive the industrialization in our country.
President Ruto concluded his working tour of the neighboring country, with both heads of state promising to improve trade relations between the two countries and her people.
Vikwazo 54 viliondoka visivyo vya kikodi, non-tariff barriers, na bado kuna vikwazo 14 vimebaki. Na tumetaka mawaziri wetu wa sekta ya biashara na uwekezaji wakutane kwa haraka kufanyia kazi vikwazo 14 ili tuwe na uhuru mpana sasa wa kufanya biashara.
Because of the goodwill you build between our two countries. As I said earlier, trade between our two countries has grown phenomenally. In 1 year, Exports from Kenya to Tanzania grew from 31 billion shillings to 45 billion shillings.
John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
Kenya moving there to benefit from the cheap gas that is coming in from Tanzania. But it's not only Kenya. Africa's economy also is set to flourish if small and medium enterprises access credit and scale their businesses to improve income as well as employment opportunities in the continent. Experts speaking during the Investment in Africa conference in London, England, say despite MSMEs being the mainstay of the continent's economy, they remain highly underfunded. Betty Kiptum has that story.
Micro, small and medium enterprises make up the highest percentage of businesses on the African continent and provide an estimated 80% of employment across the continent. The MSME sector, however, remains largely underbanked and struggles to access credit as it is considered high risk.
If the banking sector was providing as much credit, as much loans to the real economy as it should or other parts of the world are doing, then we'd have an extra 1.6 trillion of private credit to the real economy. Or put that differently, that's loans to individuals, be that mortgages or car loans. And that's loans, which is what we're focused on, loans to micro-entrepreneurs and loans to SMEs. So we think the bulk of that credit gap is those segments which are very poorly covered.
Verdant Capital's Managing Director Edmund Higginbottom says inclusive financial institutions that focus on the MSME sector ought to leverage financial technology trends that the continent has witnessed over the past decade to close the credit gap.
What we've seen in the last 10 years, the last 15 years, is very significant changes in technology in the financial sector. Mobile wallets, mobile money, how data is aggregated, how data is handled and analyzed. And that's the ecosystem on which creates a very significant opportunity to intermediate for lenders on the ground to create loans to small businesses, to micro-entrepreneurs, to other types of small borrowers.
The International Monetary Fund projects Africa's working age population will have grown by 30% in the next 5 years. Experts say the African Continental Free Trade Area is the gateway to Africa's prosperity. The United Kingdom says trade barriers ought to be eliminated to foster intra-African trade that currently stands at a low 15%.
The envisioned trade area will connect 1.3 billion people and economies with a combined GDP of $3.4 trillion through a single set of trading rules. This could boost intra-African trade by over 50% and in itself lift an estimated 100 million people out of poverty. To help achieve this and to reduce costs for consumers and businesses in Africa and the UK, we need to remove trade barriers. That is why, since the UK left the EU, we have signed no fewer than 9 trade agreements covering 18 African nations.
As the bloodline of Africa's economy, MSMEs ought to be supported to scale their businesses so as to ensure the economy grows fast enough to support the ballooning population.
Well, we see micro-entrepreneurs and SMEs as the engine of growth in the African economy. We don't see the public sector as growing. We don't see the resources sector, oils and mining, while that can contribute towards GDP, we see that as having a limited impact on domestic employment and domestic livelihoods. So we see micro-entrepreneurs and we see SMEs as critical in driving the development agenda.
The Investing in Africa conference brings together investors, financial institutions, as well as business persons seeking investments. Betty Kiptum, Prime Edition.
Now, plans are underway by government to reopen the Kenya-Somalia border. Mandera County Police Commander Yohana Tunui said stakeholders and security officials from both sides have held talks to facilitate resumption of cross-border operations that stalled in 2012. Here's that report.
Mandera County has in recent days hosted meetings for security officials and stakeholders aimed at warming relations between Kenya and Somalia. Mandera County Police Commander Johanna Tonui said the talks have centered on enhancing security along Kenya's borders with Somalia and Ethiopia.
Meetings imekuwa ikifanyika huku Nairobi na pia hapa kwa border ili tulete wale wahusika wote, all the stakeholders ambaye watakuja kuman mpaka yetu ndio tuwe na one stop border point because hapa Mandera tuko na mpaka ya Kenya na Somalia na pia mpaka na Ethiopia na wananchi ya inchi zote tatu so na one thing in common, they share the same boundary. Sile rasilimali siko huku, wananchi wote wanategemea.
Tonui noted that the current drought had transcended boundaries, hence the need for synergies to address pastoralists' quest for pasture.
Hii ni kaunti ambaye tuko na janga la ukame. Mvua pande hii wanga ni iko kwa wapa kabisa. So rasilimali kama maji wanga ni shida kupata. Na wananchi wengi ni wafukaji ambaye wanahitaji maji ya mifuko na pia malisho. So unakuta kama iko mahali ya kulisha pande ya Somalia, watu ya Kenya wana jaribu kufukisha mifuko huku wapate hizo malisho na pia maji.
The locals in Mandera are upbeat about plans to reopen the border to ease access to basic commodities which are cheaper across the border.
Border imefungwa kwa muda mrefu na tuliomba mara mingi sana na officers ambao wahusika wamekuja Mandera mara mingi, sijui walikuwa wameassess kivyao, lakini tunataka officially ifunguliwe ili tupate kile tungepata rashini, mafuta na yale tungepata kutoka huko tupate na njia rahisi.
Kuna shida sana Mandera, chakula ni bei kali, kila kitu imekuwa bei ya juu sana. Tuko na maisha magumu sana. Asua sisi watu asola, tuko na maisha magumu sana hapa Mandera. Chakula ni shida, maji ni shida kupata, mtufungulie boda naomba.
Kufungulia ni mzuri, kila bande wote wanapata chakula, kila mtu muhimu unatoka huko. Chakula kama mchele tunapata kutoka Somalia, bia tunapata pasta, maziwa tunapata kutoka baada ya Somalia.
For instance, they're relying on Ethiopia's Softu area and Somalia's Bulahawa for cooking oil that trades at 600 shillings per litre and rice sold at 1,300 shillings per 25 kgs. They say the unhindered movement of people and goods will boost integration.
Now, police in Kisii have stopped the burial of a 37-year-old woman after a family court order was issued. Kisii Central OCPD Ambrose Ambassa ordered the family to return the body to the Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary after contention on the land that she was to be buried on. Ambassa has called for calm as they await the court decision on the matter. Timothy Kipnusu with the details.
There was drama in Mwambondosi, Iteresi village in Kisii County after the burial of a middle-aged woman was stopped by police after it emerged that the deceased is not the rightful owner of a piece of land that she was about to be buried. According to Abagusi traditional culture, a banana stem was planted at the yet-to-be-completed grave. The deceased husband had applied to the court to be granted the portion of the land, claiming the current occupants had obtained it illegally, but she was allegedly murdered before judgment was passed. Efforts by the clan to pursue the case to its conclusion did not bear fruit after the High Court sitting in Kisii ruled that the piece of land was acquired legally.
Mwili rudi mochari.
Kisii Central OCPD Amos Ambassa ordered the family to return the body to the mortuary. Had a difficult time calming the crowd.
Muache kelele, watu waendelee na shughuli zao. Waende wapange na mupange vile mutapatia Catherine mazishi ile imefaa.
Timothy Kipnoso for Prime Edition.
Well, that's a report by Timothy Kipnusu brings us to our first break right here on KBC Prime. We're taking a short break. Remember, when we come back, we have a live interview with Sister Teresa Mboya, so do stay with us.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again. Don't miss.
At KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
Well, welcome back. You're watching KBC Prime, and we are now joined by our Sister Teresa Mboya. Thank you very much, Sister, for finding time to come and discuss this topic with us. And I want to start by asking you, because I know that your mission was set up in 1975, and the initial goal was evangelism. Start us off by telling us what forces influenced your decision to transition from what you were set up for, which was evangelism, and to move into the area of education, especially in the marginal areas in Kenya.
Okay, thank you very much. We, as Evangelizing Sisters of Mary, when our founders settled in Ongata-Rongai, they saw how the area looks like. Because we have slums, that is Kware slum, then we have Kataka, and we, as Evangelizing Sisters of Mary, we felt we should promote these children to education. And our first sisters who settled in Ongata-Rongai, they started a nursery school, which by then was called Fatima Nursery School. Mm-hmm. And after starting in the nursery, they continued seeing the demand that we cannot only give education in a nursery school. Mm-hmm. So we started the secondary school, which is called Bishop Mazodi Secondary School. Mm-hmm. The Bishop Mazodi is the founder. The name Bishop Mazodi was a Koboni missionary who started our congregation. Then we said, let us name our school Bishop Mazodi. After naming the school Bishop Mazodi, we started Form 1 with some girls. Yeah. Then the school grew. Then after some times, we felt there is a gap between a nursery school and a secondary school. So we started a primary school before the CBC started. And this nursery school has come up nicely, and now it is a primary school. We have reached grade 4, and we are happy that having the grade 4, we are seeing the transition of CBC. So then, because we have the facilities, that is all what is needed in a school. So we feel we don't have any gap.
There's no gap.
There is no gap.
Let me ask you, because you've brought in the components of CBC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have children who are still learning under trees.
Yes.
In those far-flung areas. In fact, some even attend, classrooms that are infested with jiggers.
Yes.
Now, I'm asking you this because you're a teacher.
Mm.
And this is a system that is supposed to benefit children right across.
Yes.
So we are having institutions that have the infrastructure ready like kiosks up and running. But then the flip side is we have other schools that are not prepared. Okay? So my question to you is, do you think with a system like CBC, there are some children in this country who are disadvantaged?
Very much. Because you find that there is no infrastructure. Others, the CBC has some demands, whereby the parents look to be going more than they are supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And if they are not able to provide, this child may not learn. Mm-hmm. Therefore, these children who are disadvantaged, I feel to appeal to the government
mm-hmm.
that some of these things they are putting in the CBC,
mm-hmm.
if they can be reduced a bit. Because imagine when a teacher tells the children, tomorrow come with maybe chicken or eggs.
Mm-hmm.
This parent may not provide.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have. Like in our place there,
mm-hmm.
especially the Kware slum, you find the parent don't have.
Mm-hmm.
So where will she get from? So the parents are suffering.
Yeah.
So if this CBC,
mm-hmm.
the government can modify it, that is my request, to avoid so many things which parents are not able to provide.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, also the many things with their digital, electronics.
Mm.
And you find some of these, they are not there.
Yeah.
So you find these schools which are now disadvantaged.
Mm-hmm.
I have worked in places, I believe up to today, there is no electricity.
Yeah.
So if you tell the children to use
to log in
the computer, they don't have.
Yeah.
And to have data,
mm-hmm.
they cannot get.
You cannot get it. Let me ask you, because you talk about parents' inability to fund, the system. Of course, although in the back of our minds we know that the president has already asked a task force to look into, whether we should retain or we should have a hybrid or whatever it is. The task force will guide us. But when you're talking about the parents, my mind also went back to some teachers who have even improvised. A parent is asked to buy I don't know what you call that. Is it plasticine or something?
Plasticine.
Yeah, plasticine. Mm-hmm. But he cannot afford. So what the teacher does is he innovates.
They innovate.
Yeah, and they say, listen, let's use mud.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I want to ask you this question, because this is a pet question that I always have, and I always ask education. You know that we have seen even the good book, like the Bible, being translated into local dialects.
Yes.
Okay? Do you think that a time has come when we should also translate sciences into local languages so that we improve the level of comprehension? I ask this because I'm aware there are countries that teach science in mother tongue. In most of those countries, when you look at their levels of development, who could you?
I believe it can work because the sciences, we the local people, let me say like that, they start talking in their mother tongue.
Yeah.
And now because we have brought attendance whereby the children, we change them drastically, that come from your mother tongue to English or Kiswahili, which sometimes it doesn't work. But if it can have that implementation of some of these subjects taught in the mother tongue, I believe the children will have touchable things to do and to say.
Specifically the STEM subjects, science, technology, math.
Some may not come in because like technology, they may not manage to bring everything in their mother tongue, because some of these things, they are named and labeled in English or Kiswahili, let me say. But some you find they have some local languages which you cannot manage to change.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And you've worked in areas where culture is very strong.
Yes.
To the locals, huh?
Yes.
So as you push your agenda of educating both the boy and the girl child, I believe, what do you run into problems when you're dealing with those areas where, for example, they believe that women should be married off early, and not taken to school to waste their time? All right, where we are still seeing cultural practices like female genital mutilation and so on and so forth, and they hold those cultures very close and very dear to them. How do you navigate that?
In fact, currently where our school, Bishop Masodi Secondary School, is in Kenya-Tanzania, it is a Maasai land, whereby the local Maasais, they have those strong cultures.
Yeah.
That maybe girls are not supposed to go to school. They want them to be married early enough. And what I would say, there are people who are working to rescue them. They rescue them from those harassment, let me call them like that. Then they bring them to us. And most of those who come to us, we have to keep them in the school, and we talk to those who have brought them, that they protect them when they're at home, and us we protect them when they're in school. So we only talk to the guardians. We call it those who are bringing them.
Yeah.
But a parent who may come and say, I have my daughter here, mostly we don't allow them, because you may give the daughter, then you find is taking her to a husband. So we protect them, and these people who bring them to us, they try to talk to those parents who feel a girl should not get education. And when they come to us, for sure we don't segregate. You may not know who has come to us through this, through that, but they mix properly with the others. And we have always received girls who have undergone such cases. Or maybe a girl was taken for marriage, then she discovered, I should get education. So they look for people who will help them.
Yeah.
Like in my school, I have many who are brought by a certain priest who is in the congregation of the Apostles of Jesus.
Yeah.
So he brings them to us, and he tries to talk to the parents. Then we give them education.
Yeah.
And in fact, these girls are very clever, bright.
They're very bright. You know, what you're seeing as harassment, they see it differently. This is something that they have practiced over centuries.
It is true.
So it is part of their story. And I ask that because initially, when you are coming with a new idea, there's you're likely to run into problems.
It is true.
Resistance, and people don't want it, and so on and so forth. So when you look back, what can you say has been the impact? And are you starting to see the locals appreciating, the role that your school, for example, is playing to them?
They do. I want to give a concrete example.
Yeah.
We had a girl who came out from the family and came to our school, and this girl brought herself. Then we were able to interrogate, and we said, because she needed education, let us educate her. Then the mother still wanted her to get married.
Yeah.
She came back to me and told me, sister, I don't want to go where my mother wants.
Yeah.
So we had to help her to go to a certain home.
Yeah.
Then after staying in that home, we struggled and we got somebody who could assist her, because in our school we don't have donors. We rely on what the parents contribute.
Yeah.
But we got somebody, in fact, now we are talking, she's in a certain college.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel good because this girl, I think she's pursuing what she desired.
Yeah.
And she's happy.
Yeah.
Up to today, she still communicates.
She communicates.
And she always thanks us that we have helped her to reach where she wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you transformed her life.
And she's happy.
Yeah. I realize you're talking a lot more about girls. How
Yes.
about the boy child?
The boy child is also there in our schools. And they are a bit dormant, let me use that word. Because when they are in the school, you know, they are day scholars. Mm-hmm. Our boys are day scholars in Bishop Masodi Secondary School.
Yeah.
And mostly when they leave, they mostly don't come back.
Why?
But when we try to follow them, you know, being there, it is a bit hard. That when they are leaving the school, they are trying to focus on what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this small job around Kware Islam or Rongai. And very few the ones I have known who have continued with their education. They want what they call a job and quick job. But with the girls I have seen, they mostly persevere and persist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we are trying our best. Also, we are trying to follow these boys. And I would say with the boys, very few who value education. As per now. Because they want to move to quick money. To quick money.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. It's probably around the culture of instant results. You know,
I believe so.
We are living in times when even the coffee is instant, even the M-Pesa is almost at the click of a button and so on and so on. But let me ask you this, because if you look at, again, I just want to go back a little bit to CBC. If you look at the way it has been designed and set up, there is a role that parents play.
Yes.
All right? Yeah? The homework, parents the system expects that parents will sit down with the children and help them to undertake some assignments that have been given to the kids. But what about, because you're a teacher, what is the feedback you're getting from those parents who are illiterate, for example?
They get the people to help them, to help the children to do their homework.
So the child has to look for somebody?
The parent.
Yeah.
Because if this child go home with the assignment, and the teacher insists, you have to come with this assignment done
tomorrow.
So the parents have to get somebody to help them to do the assignment.
Wow.
Because if they come, for sure, as you see the teachers are feared.
Yeah.
They don't know what will be the reaction. So you see also the parents are the ones doing the assignment for the children. So these children they don't have a lot of time to think about what they are doing because they are waiting for their parents to help them. So the CBC, it is good, but it has a lot of involvement of the parents, and some of these parents are not able to reach there.
Yeah.
So that is why some of these things which I said there at the beginning, it is good to be looked at. To avoid a lot of parents doing a lot of things.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, they say, I don't know where I heard this, that when you educate a boy, you empower an individual. When you educate a girl, you empower the entire
nation.
Okay.
Yes.
There are the arguments for and against. But what does it really mean to empower a girl child in those marginalized areas?
The girl child looked to be focused and to look ahead. And that is why when this girl gets education, you find others, the others who desire to follow them. But let me say this. Many of our children, especially boys, are really spoiled by taking drugs. So nobody wanted to desire to follow them. But with the girls, you find they are the ones helping their young ones their parents, they are thinking seriously on what to do next to make a home stand. In fact, these days you find many girls are working hard. You find a girl can come out of the school, go, has something to do, at least to earn something, so that is able to help a parent, especially when the parents become sick.
Okay.
They have to struggle much to help their parents.
Yeah.
But with the boys, some of them, I'm not talking of all of them, but I'm talking of some of them, you find they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Okay.
So that is why educating a girl, it helps a lot. Although I would say not educating all of them. You know, there are some, they get education, they don't care.
Yeah.
But there are those, when they receive this education, you can see the change they are doing in their homes.
In their homes. So what other factors do you think, militate against the girl-child education, other than those elements you have brought out of culture, those, traditional cultural experiences? What are the other things that you feel slows down, the progress that of the girl child in particular, in those areas of marginalized communities?
Mostly it is poverty, because if, like today, the parents, the children are asked to bring something, then the parent don't have. So this girl will always feel bad. Always when we are told to bring this, we don't have. So this child will we withdraw.
Okay.
The poverty.
Poverty. So one is culture, two is poverty. Which one else? Because I'm writing them down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another one which makes these girls not to, which hinders their education, is early marriage. Either the parents make them get married, or themselves. Mostly they run away from home, and they find themselves married. So this prevents from developing this girl, whom you find maybe in a situation or in a village. They have very high hopes for this girl to receive the education. But because of this hindrance, there is no education.
Okay.
Yes.
But then what kind of courses do you offer in your institution? Are they, technical courses, or what's your structure like?
As I said earlier, we started with the nursery school.
Yeah.
Then we jumped to secondary school.
Yeah.
Then we started primary school, and now we have a technical school, which is called the Marengoni Vocational Training College, whereby they are doing different type of courses. And
what kind of courses? I'm interested to know, especially the technical ones.
Engineering. We have cookery. Then in the same college, during holidays, we have ECD.
Yeah, early childhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we have something to do with saloon. So we have different kind of.
Okay. I was asking you that because I was expecting to hear something around technology.
Yes.
Because if you look at the trajectory of the world, everything is going smart.
Yes.
Okay? So yes, I've heard saloon, I've heard cookery, but I'm not hearing the space for technology.
We have a computer, we have electricity. So all these kind of courses are done there.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
and these institutions are owned by Evangelizing Sisters of Mary.
Yeah.
They are the one who started.
Yeah.
And they own them.
Yeah.
But we follow each and everything which the ministry demands.
Thank you. So as we wind up, what do you see as the possible verdict once that task force has been put in place around CBC? What are you seeing? Because we are coming from the 844, and the previous one was what? You go to Form 4, then you go to Form 6, and then you go to the university, but you've had 7 years in primary. So when you look at that landscape, what do you think would be the verdict of
For me, as being a secondary school teacher,
yeah,
and looking at these children who are doing the exam in grade 6, these children are too young. So my expectation and what I'm hoping is this grade, the junior secondary, not to go to secondary school, and to transit to a secondary building, let me use that word, but to remain in instead of coming from grade 6, as they were choosing secondary school, I was imagining this child who is supposed to be in class 7 going to secondary school. Other teachers, secondary school teachers have not yet been trained much, although I wish to thank the Catholic Diocese of Gong is helping us to train our teachers, secondary school teachers. But these children are too young to go to secondary school. Let me ask you,
when you say the secondary school teachers have not been trained enough, what is the implication on that on the learners?
This CBC has so many activities whereby the secondary school teachers are not yet acquainted with how they are supposed to handle these young children and plus the subject they are to learn. But I thank the ministry because they started training the teachers. Plus, I have mentioned our Catholic Diocese of Gong. They are helping us to train them. But I still say this grade 7 and grade 8, which is the junior secondary, these children are too young to come to now. They will come and join the 84 those who are still there. They may not be comfortable, and we may not manage to handle them. We are used to handling these girls and boys who have already made their choice that I'm going to secondary school and have completed class 8. Now these are class 7 children. Only that we are calling them junior secondary.
So the executive summary of what you're saying is that there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the CBC.
A lot.
I want to thank you for finding time to come and discuss with us, Sister Teresia Mboya. Thank you very much indeed.
Welcome.
Well, moving on now, Kenya today joined the world in marking the Mental Health Awareness Day with a rallying call to increase the capacity of healthcare professionals to deal with the increasing health challenges that is witnessed in the country. Mental health advocates across the country have urged for preventive approach over response in line with this year's theme of making mental health and well-being for all a global priority. Wycliffe Okech reports.
Prevention and response. Mental health care.
In efforts to cut on the surge of mental health challenges, especially among uniformed officers, the Kenya Prison Service, in collaboration with the Kisumu County Government, has launched a program meant to create awareness about mental health. The multi-sectoral program seeks to address the challenges of mental health from the two facets of prevention and response.
This is just one of the programs which is running in Kisumu County. We have several other programs which are running, which will help us to prevent mental health and to be able to deal with mental health. Mental health is a big problem everywhere. I don't need to look at the statistics, but if you just look at the simple thing like domestic violence, Kisumu County has almost 10.4% rate of domestic violence. So you can see how high. That is 1 in every 10 people who are married have suffered from some domestic violence.
Mental health must be integrated into primary health care to ensure that we implement this program at the community level.
In a similar event in Laikipia County, stakeholders have called for deployment of more counsellors to health facilities.
Just as we know the economy is not doing well, so we have so many of our people who would want counselling, who would require psychiatric treatment, but they cannot afford it. But if the government gets engaged and starts having this kind of doctors in our hospitals, we believe our people will be assisted.
Meanwhile, in the capital Nairobi, the county government was challenged to prioritize mental health in its planning for the provision of primary health care services.
Unapata kijana ndio aweze access hizo counseling sessions. The cheapest session per hour is 3,500. So you can imagine kijana ana hata chakula, ana kazi, alafu ako na pressure, depression na bado anaitishwa like 4,000 for one session per hour.
Please reach out to any health facility because we have help for you. We want to eliminate the idea that people suffer until it's too late, until they're identified when they can no longer be helped. And this is something that is a big issue.
Finally, in Meru County, stakeholders call on the government to include mental health in the National Hospital Insurance Fund cover to enable low-income earning Kenyans access psychiatric services in times of need.
Tuko hapa kuuliza serikali ihakikishe kwamba NHIF program inaweza tumika kulipa the cost of treating some of these mental health, because the cost of treating is becoming very expensive for our youth in Kenya.
Leo kama siku ya World Mental Health Day, pia tuna encourage watu ama young people kuwa part of the solution, na tuna encourage pia watu pale kwa community, watu wa create safe spaces whereby young people can just come in and people talk about these issues that affect people.
For Prime Edition, I am Wycliffe Okage.
Now, service to humanity is an important aspect of life. It brings hope and life to the downtrodden. A religious nun in Kithioko, as in Masinga sub-county in Machakos, knows all too well the need for service to humanity. In the last 2 decades, Sister Mary Musembi has been supporting needy persons suffering memory loss. A majority of the cases at Sister Musembi's humble abode in Kithioko were abandoned in hospital after suffering various traumatic incidences. Their relatives too cannot be traced. Gladys Mungai brings you that story.
10th October 2022. Attention to the needy at Kithioko, Machakos County is in earnest. Whereas in other regions it is a known and off activity, here it has become a routine. A routine initiated and set up by Sister Mary Musembi, a contemplative of the Sister of Our Lady of Mercy. In a story similar to that of St. Mother Teresa of Calcutta, Sister Mary Musembi felt inclined to offer home to the downtrodden in the society. Mercy Servants of the Poor Foundation Home is tucked deep inside Machakos County. This is the place these people now call home, and Sister Musembi says her call as a religious nun is to serve, so this initiative gives her a lot of satisfaction.
I was inspired by the suffering humanity, that redemptive love, that love that you serve without expecting anything in return. Serving people whom have nobody to care. Even the relatives have abandoned them. The society, nobody wants to be associated with.
The journey, however, has not been rosy. She says they survive on support from well-wishers. With the home struggling to make ends meet, the nun is challenging the government and Kenyans at large to lend a helping hand.
I call upon the government, if it is possible, to set aside a kid for the vulnerables, for the destitute in our society. They are all Kenyans. They are not less Kenyans. They are part and parcel of our life. They are our people, and we should love them. If we truly claim that we are Christians.
The home has a workforce of 7, including 2 volunteers. Water is still a challenge. Electricity, though nearby at the other center, it is yet to reach home. The facility is home to 20 persons suffering from memory loss and whose relatives cannot be traced. It is also home to people who have been abandoned by the relatives, among them infants.
The people we get here, they are people who have been abandoned by their relatives in the hospitals. The children are dumped, they are just left, which means that our present society has lost that spirit of love. The love towards the needy is dying.
Despite the obvious challenges, Sister Musembi soldiers on and is looking at expanding her home. She also hopes that Kenyans of goodwill can come to her aid and offer any support. You can reach Sister Musembi on 0723 291 329. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Well, Karen Kibet is on the other studio to bring us the day's sports.
Thank you very much, Mboya. As you have seen, it's just 41 days to the World Cup, and KBC Channel 1 will be broadcasting live the whole event. We definitely will break it down to you which particular matches from the group stage to the finals that we will be airing, so stay tuned, don't go too far. Let's begin with today's sports, where veteran rally driver Piero Canibio says he has found his rhythm in his Hyundai i20NG Rally 2 machine, despite retiring from the 6th round of the Kenya National Rally Championship in Nanyuki last month due to mechanical gremlins. The former Mitsubishi Evolution 10 driver is among those enlisted for the Mombasa Motor Club Rally slated for Saturday in Kilifi County.
Piero Canobio will be hoping to rediscover the reliability of his new i20N Rally 2 machine against Nairobi drivers, among them series leader Karan Patel, second place Jasmeet Chana, and first place Raji Singh Barij, who will be returning to the national series in a Minty Motorsports Skoda Fabia Rally 2. The i20N Rally 2 car is the successor to i20 R5, currently running the national and continental championships across the globe, as well as World Rally Third Tier Championship WRC3. Piero will become the first ever driver to enter the Mombasa Motor Club Rally leg of the National Series in a Hyundai Rally 2 machine. Piero is an old hand in the sport, having started his racing in Italy in the 1980s and teaming up with co-drivers, among them Cepelini Giorgio, T. Gianfranco and Gogero Pasio. Meanwhile, reconnaissance for the rally shall take place in Bamba area on Friday, same as Reke, while Kilifi Mall will be the venue for scrutineering checks. The ceremonial start and finish shall take place on Saturday at Bamba Mwezamoyo School. 3 stages, KWFT 38 kilometers, Mirima Wandege 26.36 kilometers, and Jila 16.24 kilometers will be repeated to make up a competitive run of 161.30 kilometers. The rally will cover a total distance of 277.50 kilometers.
KCA University beat Multimedia University 50-27 in one of the Women's Basketball League matches played today at the University of Nairobi. In Handball League, Daystar University suffered a 42-27 defeat to Rising Star in a match played at the Nyayo National Stadium.
KCA dominated the match, winning the first quarter and second quarters 12-3 and 14-7 respectively. They went on to take on the third and fourth quarters respectively after scoring 13-10 and 11-7 respectively. In other matches, Zetech Sparks beat KU Oryx 84-41, while Nips was beaten 61-56 by Kabul's Elicist. UON Dynamities beat Sharon Gaseri 42-26.
I'd like to thank God for the win that we've had today. It was a tough win. I remember we lost to JKUAT. We went overtime past Kusai in Dedan Kimathi. So we were longing for this game. We had that urge to win. And I think we had something to prove. So at least we won, though it was a tough win.
We started on a very low note. It was very, very low. Because when we began, we were down so bad. And then third quarter, we catched up with them. Because at that time, we were down like 8 points. We were having a rushed offense. Everything was not working. The defense was okay. So third quarter, we figured it out. We pulled down our offense.
In the Handball League, Daystar University was beaten 42-27 by Rising Star in a thrilling match played at the Nyayo National Stadium. Currently, NCPB and Ulinzi are leading the men's league standings with 22 points, while Nairobi Water tops the women's league with 18 points, 4 points ahead of Ulinzi Sharks and NCPB. For Prime Edition Sports, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
Thank you, Dan, for that report. Moving on, Cricket Kenya chairman Manoj Patel said the success of the national under-19 cricket team in the ICC World Cup qualifiers is a new dawn for the game in the country. Patel, who was speaking in Mombasa during the finals of the DTB Premier Cricket League, promised to work closely with former international cricketers to return Kenya to one-day international matches.
Patel said the under-19 men's team has qualified for the next year's second and final round, where the winners between Namibia, Tanzania and Uganda, among others, will represent Africa in the 2024 ICC Under-19 World Cup. Patel was speaking in Mombasa during a Premier Cricket League that was won by Deccan Super Kings.
As we all are aware, currently our Under-19 performed very well, and we jumped from Division 2 to 1. So let's hope for the best for our under-19s also. Currently, as I said, we are in Division 1 now and hope we do the well. From Division 2 to we are in 1 now, and for the World Cup qualifiers now, we need to come in top 2. So once we are there, we'll be there. And we were there, I think 2017, 16-17, we were there in a World Cup, coached by Jimmy Command at that time. So after that, it's not that we didn't perform, but the politics, you say, the cricket was not there all these years. But now because cricket is back, thanks to Sarekali.
We made a team. So yeah, we started good. When the first 2 games we won. After that there was a downfall and we lost 2 games. And after that, bit of upset and all things. We again sat together. And we work out a weakness, so where need to be changed, our batting and bowling, then we changed. And after that, continuously we are winning the 4th game, so we are in top 4th of the table. Then up to the finals. Now we beat the top 2 teams, and today you can see the result. We won the game.
During the final match, Deccan Super Kings led the captain Raj Shetty won the match after thrashing Vehicle Movers Candelas by 7 wickets. Kings won the toss and elected the ball first, where Kandala's captain Mohammad Sharez and Akshay Baderia helped the team to restrict their side to 139 over 9 and 20 overs. In the second innings, Shetty gave the second start to his team as star batsman Safraz Ahmed gave tremendous batting to score 51 runs off 34 balls with 3 sixes and 4 fours to make it easy for the team to chase the target as score hit 137 over 3 in 14.1 overs. Ahmed was declared the man of the match with excellent scores of 51 runs. King Orimwangi for Channel 1 Sports.
Thank you, Kingori, for that detailed report. Moving on, Kenya will host the Red Bull Street Style World Finals next year. The confirmation was made after the 2022 Red Bull Street Style World Finals in Pula, Croatia by World Freestyle Football Association President Steve Elias. Next year's World Finals in Kenya will mark the competition's first return to Africa since 2010. Red Bull Street Style Football is a freestyle football genre, and for the first time, 16 female athletes will face off in the World Finals, marking a key moment of growth for the sport. The 2023 World Freestyle Football Championship will attract more than 35 countries. Kenya, being the host country, will be advertised worldwide with an expected viewership of over 3 million. Interesting only for the professional jugglers. We'll see how that will go next year, right here on the Kenyan soil. Cameroon national soccer team will be appearing for the 8th time in the FIFA World Cup. This is a record for the most appearance at the World Cup event among the African teams. This year's World Cup finals will be held in Qatar from the 20th of next month and will be televised live on KBC Channel 1. Well, that's all we had for you tonight. I'll see you tomorrow with more sports stories. My name is Karen Kibet. The bulletin is not yet over. I do hand you back to my colleague, Mboya.
Many thanks indeed, Marakwet there. Cameroon, 8th time appearance at the FIFA World Cup. Well, that's all that we had time for. I want to thank you so much on behalf of Prime Edition team for watching. My name is Mboya, and on behalf of everybody, I want to wish you a pleasant viewing. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.
If you are a holder of any unclaimed financial assets, surrender all unclaimed financial assets in your possession to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, today without having to pay interest or penalties. Take advantage of the Finance Act 2022 moratorium on penalties and interests. For more information, visit www.ufaa.go.ke/holders. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
To get Change Your Thinking Skizatune, dial *811*961#.
When you change the quality of your thinking, you change the quality of your life. Sometimes instantly, just as positive words can make someone calm, smile or laugh, your thoughts will react to the world in real time. So, change the quality of your thinking.
Dial *811*